Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we're going to be doing my best of beauty for 2022. So I try to do this every year, and every year I try not to mention the same products that I mentioned the year previous. Obviously some products might be the same, but for the most part I try to mention either just like new things that I tried this year that I felt like were really good. So if you want to see my previous favorites, I will link my best of beauties for the past, I don't know how many years I've done it, but I will link those down below in case you're curious. But yeah, so I gathered all the things that I have been loving this year, not specifically in every category, just things that I thought of and I was like, I really enjoy that. So make sure to subscribe down below, give this video a thumbs up if you do enjoy it, and if you want to see the products that I have been loving this year, then just keep on watching. Okay, so first I'm going to start off with primer, I think, because I do have quite a bit. This year was like the year of glowy skin for me, so I was using like glowy products and then mattifying products in the T-zone because I wanted that dewy skin, but I have oily skin, so I had to use something to help control the oils while getting the glow. So my favorite product for that glow this year was the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I know everyone has been raving about that this year, but this was such a splurge for me. I have wanted this for years because makeup artists talk about it, YouTubers, TikTokers, like everyone talks about it, and I finally just decided to splurge and I love this product. I pretty much use this product every time that I do my makeup. It just gives you a glow without making you look oily. Now again, I do have oily skin and I have large pores, so I don't put this in my T-zone. I literally just put it here. Like I make two lines here and here, and I do one across my forehead. I keep it out of my T-zone just to keep me from getting oily because this is a glowy product. So obviously if you're putting glowy stuff in your T-zone, you're gonna look oily throughout the day. So I absolutely love this. I have the shade One Fair and I really like it. I think this is just such an easy product. I don't see any coverage, but it just gives you the nicest glow to your skin. So yeah, and I know there's a lot of dupes for this. So the e.l.f. Halo Glow I haven't tried yet because it was only at Target or e.l.f.'s website and then it kept selling out. But you can get it on Ulta now. I just seen that you can get it online, but I really want to try it out. Probably once I run out of this, or maybe if I just feel like picking it up, I will get the e.l.f. one because I've heard they're exact dupes for each other. But I did pull some other ones that I feel like are similar. So two that are still high end, but they're both like, you're gonna get a very similar effect with these. First I have like a little mini. This is the Tarte Glow Wand. These are extremely similar. I would say that this one is just a little bit more glowy than the Tarte one, but again, very, very similar to each other. I feel like Tarte like kind of did themselves a disservice because they released this like 4 years ago, but they released it as like a advertising as almost like a concealer topper to give you a glow underneath your eyes, and everyone did not care about that. But very similar to the Charlotte Tilbury one. And then the Say Glowy Super Gel, this is extremely similar. This one is a little bit more almost more like a cream highlighter than the Charlotte Tilbury one. You will get no coverage with this. This is, you can use this as a cream highlighter. You can mix it with foundation. You can put it on the skin as like a primer. I really like this. I found this because of Makeup X Kelly Ann. But again, and they do have a bronzier version of this one, so they have two shades in this one. And then the two drugstore ones that I have is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Perfector. Now out of all the ones I'm going to mention, I feel like this one is the least close to this one. This one doesn't add as much glow to me. It adds maybe like a smidge of color or coverage, but to me this one is like the least like it, but you're still going to get like that glowy effect. Mine keeps like leaking oil or something for some reason, but again, you do have the sponge thing, which isn't my favorite that Maybelline does that, but again, similar effect. But out of all of them, I think this one is the least from the Charlotte Tilbury one. But again, still super pretty underneath the makeup to give you that glow without looking like too glowy. Some days if I know I'm going to use maybe a foundation that has a little bit more of a glowy finish, or if I just don't want to look too glowy, I'll go in with like this one, because this one isn't as glowy as the Charlotte Tilbury or the Say or the Tarte one. So I like this one for the days that I still want to glow but nothing crazy. And then the last one, this is the newest one to me. This is the L'Oreal Lumi Glotion. So they have like 5 or 6 shades in this. You can mix this in with a moisturizer. You can mix this with your foundation. You can put it on as a primer. You can use it, I don't know if you could really use this as a highlighter. I guess you could if you wanted to. But I actually really like this one. Yeah, kind of just same effect. Gives you that glowy skin. But this one has a little bit of like hydration to it. Ooh. And then the next 2 primers, these I mentioned last year, so I'm just going to mention these like really fast. So the Catrice, no, I always call it Catrice. It's the Hard Candy Hydrating Gripping Primer. Better than the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip. Better than the Cover FX Gripping Primer. This is the best gripping primer to me because it adds hydration. It gives you that grip without making your makeup pill, without being too sticky. I will say with all these gripping primers, you do want to put them on and kind of give them a couple minutes before you put on foundation or anything else on top of it. But this one is the best one I found, and you can get this one at Walmart. And then the One Size Secure the Blur Makeup Magnet Primer. This is my Holy Grail Oil Control Primer. This one is just the best to me. Like, I like the Smashbox Oil and Shine Control. I like the e.l.f. Putty Primer, but this one is just the best one, especially if you do have oily skin and you want to make sure your makeup will last all day. This is the best one I have found. It will make my makeup last literally all day long, and it really does a good job of filling in the pores and giving you that smooth skin. And then this is kind of like a drugstore mattifying option. So this is the L'Oreal Infallible Matte Lock Mattifying Primer. Wait, can you get this still? I want to say this is getting discontinued and they like reformulated it to like it's called something else. I can't remember what it's called, but this is a really good one. This one is kind of more like a lotiony type of texture, and it's not too like that silicone. It doesn't have that silicone like base primer. I feel like a lot of drugstore mattifying primers are just too silicone, but this one is not. It's more like a lotiony and it really mattifies. Like, this is a extremely mattifying primer. I love this in the summertime when my skin is very oily because this keeps my makeup locked all day long. Oh, and then the last one I want to mention, this is actually a sunscreen, but this I only use underneath makeup. So this is Summer Fridays Shade Drops Broad Spectrum SPF 30. This is the Mineral Milk Sunscreen. I love this sunscreen. This one is so great for underneath makeup. I specifically only use it when I know I'm going to use makeup because I love my Ulta MD one, and that one has 46. It's SPF 46, so that's just a higher SPF coverage. But this one is great for underneath makeup because it has like that milky texture to it, so it never peels on me, never makes my makeup weird. I don't get greasy with this one. If you have oily skin, it's really hard to find sunscreens that don't make you greasy, especially underneath makeup. This one is the best one I have found. Okay, now we're gonna move on to foundation. So I only have 3. So the Makeup Forever HD Skin Foundation, I have been loving this one. I have the shade 1N00, which used to be Y205. I love the packaging of this. It does have a pump, and I feel like this gives you such a gorgeous finish to the skin. Both of the foundations that I'm going to mention are very skin-like while giving you coverage. So this one you can keep super sheer. You can do like a little tiny baby pump and have like very natural skin, or you can build this up and get full glam. This one is more of like a satin finish. I feel like it's not too glowy, it's not too matte, it's kind of just that perfect in between. I love this for going out because it's just lasts on me really well, and I can pair it with my glowy primers and I won't get too glowy. And I can really customize the coverage on it, so I love this foundation. NARS Light Reflecting, I have talked about this so many times. I have the shade Oslo L1. The shade is a little pinky for me, but I don't care. This is one of the best foundations I've tried. I get everyone to try this foundation because I just think it's worth the splurge. If you're wanting to splurge on foundation, I think this one is literally amazing. It gives you the pretty, like, it's just the most natural foundation I have found. It's very skin-like. Again, just like the Makeup Forever, you can really customize this coverage. You can keep it very sheer or build it up to be a full glam coverage. I like my foundations like a medium. I don't want it too heavy, but I want to have just a little bit of coverage. This is amazing. This is literally such a good foundation. Mature skin can use it. People who are young, acne prone skin can use it. I just think this is literally an amazing foundation, and it lasts all day long while still giving you kind of like that hydrated skin look. And then the last one is a skin tint. So this is the Cali Ray Free Dreaming Skin Wellness Diffusing Tint. This is in the shade 2. I will say, even for a skin tint, I think the shade range on this could be better. I feel like the dark shades are not dark enough. I feel like the light shades are not light enough. Now with skin tints, you don't need 40 shades. You need like, I don't know, like 10, 15. Skin tints are very like, you can really, I don't know how I'm trying to say it. You can really alter the shade, because even though it looks too dark, like this one looks way too dark for me. When I first got this, I was like, this is not my shade. This is too warm, too dark, not gonna work for me. But it blends into the skin. It literally, it works. I don't know how it works, but it works. It doesn't look like that orangey kind of, like when you wear a shade that's too dark, especially when you have fair skin, it can just look orangey more than like anything. And it doesn't on me. It blends into my skin really nicely. You definitely want to shake this up. It does have like the little shaker ball. But this one is so good for oily skin. Again, skin tints are really hard to find for oily skin because a lot of them are just oily or just too glowy, don't last throughout the day. This one lasts all day long on me. I wear this a lot during the summer because it just lasts all day long. I don't have to worry about it fading or just breaking down. A lot of skin tints will just break down throughout the day. That does not happen with this one, and it has a really good coverage. I would actually say that this is like a pretty good coverage skin tint. Like, it's not just like sheer and adds color. It adds actually quite a bit of coverage. I even wore this on vacation in Florida during a heat wave outside taking pictures, and it lasted all day long. So that's really saying. It was like 110 degrees or something like that. Humid as crap because it was Florida. We were taking pictures outside and it was so hot, but this actually lasted through that. So this is an amazing skin tint. And Cali Ray, I think, I could be wrong, is owned by the, she used to be like a creator or like something for Urban Decay, and then she left and I think she created Cali Ray. Could be wrong about that, but I think so. Okay, then I just have two concealers. So one is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer. This is in the shade Royal Icing. So I feel like a lot of people have been talking about this concealer, but this is a really good concealer. When I first got it, I didn't know if I was going to like it because I don't love the foundation version. The foundation version is just too full coverage. It's just too much. Like, it's just heavy on me. It's a little cakey. It's not my favorite, so I just didn't know if I was gonna like this concealer. But it's actually more of like a medium buildable coverage concealer. Again, even with my concealers, I kind of like a medium coverage concealer, and then I just kind of build it up if I want to. This is so good. It sets down really nicely. It lasts all day long. I don't feel like you have to set this concealer if you don't want to. I always set concealers, but this is just such a good concealer, and I feel like it's more like a satin finish. Then we have the Ilium one. I tried this because of Katie Fawn, and this is such a good concealer. I have this in the shade Mallow, I think is what it says. But this is a really great everyday concealer. Some people, this might not be, like, if you're someone who likes a full coverage concealer, I would go with the Huda Beauty. Honestly, even the Huda Beauty might not be full coverage enough, but for me, this one is perfect. It's just that perfect skin-like, it gives you coverage. This is definitely a medium coverage concealer. You can build it up if you want to, but I think this has really great coverage, especially for every day. It just smooths everything out, covers the dark circles while still looking like skin. It's just a very skin-like concealer, and I think it just looks so pretty for every day. Okay, now we're gonna go, oh, I actually do have two brow products. So I have the Anastasia Brow Freeze and the e.l.f. Brow Lift. These are the same thing, they're just that clear brow wax that just give you that fluffy brow, and I have thick coarse eyebrows, so it's hard for me to find one that doesn't just like get goopy in my eyebrows or pretty much do nothing. But these actually do brush up my eyebrows. I like that they're not that crunchy feeling like the Makeup by Mario one. It does kind of give you that, it does brush them up, but it gives me that crunchy kind of like hairspray like brow feeling, but these don't do that. And these are very good dupes for each other. The only thing I'll say is I do think the Anastasia one has a better hold on it than the e.l.f. one. It just lasts a little bit longer. But other than that, I feel like these are the exact same thing. Okay. Now we're gonna move on to cheap products. This is, I have a lot, like a lot. I'm gonna start with highlighters because that's the like, I only have 2. So the first one is a powder highlight. This is the Makeup by Mario Soft Glow Highlighter in the shade Pearl. This is just such a good highlight. It reminds me a lot of my Natasha Denona Super Glow in the fact that they're both that very skin-like finish, but they give you that glow without looking like just like a streak of highlighter. It's just a very lit from within highlight, and they blend into the skin really nicely. And they melt into the skin really nicely, and I actually really like the color. This is like a gold, but it definitely has like a pink, a little bit like a pink hue in it, but it's not like that duochrome. It just kind of looks like my skin tone in a way. So I love this one. The one Opal by him does have a little bit more of like a glitter in it. This one I don't see like any of like the chunks of glitter. It reminds me a lot of my Holy Grail Natasha Denona Super Glow, but I have been loving that highlighter. And then I have some liquid highlighters. So these are the Rare Beauty ones. So I have Enlightened and Enchant. I love these. I liked this one so much that I went and bought this one. These are just really easy to use, and I feel like the way that I do it, I do actually use these over powder. So I'll just do like a dot of each on my hand, mix it with my finger, and then just very lightly tap it in, and then I'll just kind of go over with the sponge just to blend it into the skin nicely. I don't have a problem with these picking up powder or breaking up foundation, and they actually keep the glow throughout the day. So I love these, and I feel like if you do that method, you won't have any problems with it breaking up your foundation or anything. Now we're going to talk about, let's just do bronzers. So I have quite a few cream bronzers. So again, this is like the year of creams for me, which even though last year kind of was too. I do have quite a few. So the powder ones, I'm just going to mention real fast. So I have 3 separate ones, but they're, again, very similar to each other, and I kind of use them in the same way. So I have the Huda Beauty Glowish Bronzer in Light. I have the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer in Nude Bronze Light, and the Kosas Soft Bronze in the shade Light. I don't really know what this one's called, but these are all just glowy bronzers. They don't have a ton of like pigment. They just add warmth while adding a glow, and I have been loving to do a matte bronzer and then top it with a glowy bronzer, or I'll just use a glowy bronzer on like very natural days, because it gives you that warmth while adding glow back into the skin, and it's not like a highlighter, so it's not going to look too glowy or glittery or anything like that. It's just going to add a nice radiance to the skin. So I want to mention these together because they're very similar, and I use them in the same ways. This one I think I mentioned last year, so I'm just going to mention it really fast. It's the Patrick Ta Cream, what's it called? Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer. This is just a holy grail for me. I have a huge dent in this. When I don't know what I want to use, I'll reach for this one. Natural days, I'll reach for it. Full Glam. It's just the perfect contour shade for me because it's not too warm and it's not too cool. Like, it still adds a bronziness while still shaping the face. And I just love the formula of his cream bronzers and his cream blushes. I still love his blushes, but again, I mentioned them previously, so I'm not going to mention them again. But I just had to mention this bronzer because you get the bronzer, you get the cream contour. I just think it's a really great bang for your buck. I just wish he'd come out more shades because the formula is amazing on this. Then for a very natural day, so this is the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer. I don't have anything quite like this. It's a very creamy bronzer, and it doesn't add a ton of color. Like, this is a very buildable cream bronzer. If you're just getting started in creams, or if you're someone who just doesn't love a very like a very intense bronzer, you would love this, because this is the most natural cream bronzer I have found. Again, you can literally layer this and layer this and layer this, and it's still not going to look like too much. So I have very extremely fair skin, and this literally, I can do this like 10 times and still look like not too much. It's just actually the most natural flush of color. This one is definitely pricey. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Sun-Kissed Glow Bronzer, and I had mine in the shade Fair, and I had my Mario one was in the shade Light. So this bronzer is just so good. This is a huge pan. It's like literally the size of my hand, but it is a very easy to work with bronzer. I'm actually wearing that one today underneath what bronzer did I use today? I can't remember what bronzer I topped it with, but this is the cream bronzer that I use, and I mixed it with a little bit of the other one I want to mention. This is such an easy bronzer to work with. It has more of like a powder, it's like a thicker cream, so you can actually use this over powder, you can use this underneath powder. It's just a very easy bronzer, and I love the color. Again, not too warm, not too cool, just that perfect like neutral shade, and love that bronzer. Then the same one, again, I might have mentioned this last year, I can't remember, but when I first got this, I was like, this shade is not going to work for me. This is in the shade Light Bronze, but again, it's a very easy bronzer to work with. That is my biggest thing with cream bronzers. I don't like too much pigment. I don't like it to be very hard to work with. I feel like this one is just very creamy. It melts into the skin. It just gives me a lot of warmth. When I want some really nice warmth, like especially in the summertime, I love this one because it's a very warm bronzer, but it just melts into the skin so nicely. And again, it's a very buildable cream bronzer. And then the last one is the Rare Beauty. This is the newest one to me. This is in the shade Power Boost. I wanted this since it came out last December, but I never got it because I just didn't know the shades. I don't love her shade range on these because they are extremely warm. So this is definitely a bronzer stick. It's not a contour stick. But the shade Power Boost actually works for me. It looks too warm like when I swatch it, but when I blend it into the skin, it blends out so easily. They are pigmented, but they blend very easily and very quick. And I love to like top like the Patrick Ta Cream Contour with this one, just to add that warmth to the skin. It's just a really good bronzer. If you can find a shade that works for you, you're gonna love it. Again, keep in mind it's very warm. And now we're gonna move on to blushes. I am like a blush person, so I have a bunch of blushes. I try not to mention anything that I mentioned last year, but the first ones I want to mention is the Rose Ink Cream Bronzers, or cream blushes. I love this formula. I have a bunch of shades. My favorites were Dahlia, which is just like this really pretty like berry wine, and then Camilla, which is just like this really unique shade. I feel like it's very like cool tone mauve-y kind of color, which I love, especially for wintertime. These shades are just so pretty. But again, it's a very easy formula to work with, very blendable, kind of more of like a thicker cream blush. But the formulas are just really easy to work with. These are pigmented, so like I feel a little bit goes a long way, but if you just use a light hand, they're so pretty. They have a little bit of a glow to them, but nothing crazy. And you can use these over powder if you wanted to. But I just love that formula, and I love the colors on her blushes. Then the next two, I was using these a lot in the summer. So these are the Huda Beauty Cheeky Tint Blush Sticks. I have Rebel Red and Coral Cutie. These are like really good, honestly better than I even thought they'd be. They definitely have a glow to them, but they're very sheer, You can use these over powder, you can use these under powder. They're very easy to work with. Like, you can just throw it on, blend it out with your fingers, and be done. I love these during the summer because they just have a nice glow to them. And I was just like, skin tint, mascara, you could put on a little bit of these and go. And they're so easy to work with. Very blendable. Again, good for someone who's getting into the cream blush. Getting into cream blush and you just don't want anything too crazy. These are just so easy to work with and just look very natural on the skin. Again, the Say Dew blushes, I really like these too. These remind me of the Rare Beauty ones, but way less pigmented. They're almost more like the Huda Beauty ones in that they're actually very sheer and very blendable and really easy to work with. They just add the prettiest, like most natural wash of color. Like even this looks too dark for me. But it's just like this really pretty like terracotta blush. This is in the shade Chili, and then I have the shade, no, this is Chili, this one is Spicy. And I had the shade Poppy, and then I don't know what happened with that one, but it like kept leaking all over the place, and then eventually it, like the stopper broke in it, and like I don't know, it made a huge mess. I ended up having to throw it away because like it just wasn't savable. But I would absolutely repurchase Poppy because I just love this formula. Again, just really light, easy to work with. And then the last two are blush palettes. So these, I feel like I've been using blush palettes a lot recently, and these two I've been loving. So the first one is the Laura Lee Blush Aesthetic. I love this blush palette. I actually, again, took this on vacation with me. This is like one of my favorite blush palettes. I just think the colors are so pretty. I feel like it's very universal and like, I don't know, these are just like the most perfect blush shades for me. You have like warm blushes, you have like the cool tone pinks, you have neutrals. You do have a highlighter in here, which I don't use this very often. I think she also put it in there so that you could make these like a glowy blush if you wanted to, but these are all matte, and I just think it's the most like perfect blush palette. Like if I created a blush palette, it would be this one. And then the other one, this one, I don't think a lot of people loved it, but I actually really liked it. This is the Makeup or the Patrick Ta Major Headlights blush palette, and this is the second one. So these are all shimmer blushes, and then you have a cream highlighter. So, or you have a highlighter, so you do have creams and powders. The creams are shimmer, the blushes are shimmer, but they're not chunky shimmers. They're very natural shimmers. I topped my blush. I used the Persona cream blush in Jam, and then I topped it with this, actually both of these. I actually use the powders more than I do the creams, but I love this. It's just the most like natural, glowy blush without looking highlightery on the skin. It's just a very pretty blush, especially for like that everyday makeup. I don't use the highlighter because it's just not my favorite. It's just like a clear balm and then a gold highlighter, but this side's not my favorite. But these two are so pretty. Hopefully he'd release the like singles of these, but I think I was like in the minority of loving it. I'm almost done. I just have lip products now. So first things are lip liners. And if you can't tell, I love the Makeup by Mario lip liners. These are probably like my holy grail lip liners. Other than MAC Whirl, because it will always be a holy grail, this is my holy grails. I literally use these all the time. Hue, where is it? This one is literally my like most used lip liner, probably of my whole collection now. I love Hue and, oh wait, this is an eyeliner. Hue and Smoky Pink. I can't find, oh, here's Smoky Pink. I use these two a lot because I love that like pinky tone. And these are just like the most perfect colors for me. I love that you get a lip brush so you can kind of blend it out. It's just, honestly, these are the best lip liners. They are wooden. They all come with a sharpener, and they're not too creamy, but they're creamy enough. They're creamier than the MAC or the NYX lip liners, but they're not as creamy as like ColourPop or KKW ones. These are just like the perfect formula for me. These are super viral right now, especially on TikTok. It's the Tarte. I have the Maracuja Juicy Lip, and then I have the Maracuja Juicy Lip Plump. I love these. I think these are so pretty, again, for everyday or full glam. They just give you, if a balm, a lipstick, and a lip gloss had a baby, it would be these. They remind me a lot of the Makeup by Mario lip serums, but I feel like these have a little bit more color to them. So this one doesn't have any plumping effect to it, and then this one does. I feel like it's very minor, but I just think these are so pretty, so juicy on the lip. If you want kind of like a lip gloss with a little bit of color, but be thinner than a lip gloss, you would love these. Then I have these NARS Soft Matte Tinted Lip Balms. I really like these. These are very sheer, so I just love to like use these for like a little wash of color. They don't, I think they have like 5 or 6 shades of these, but I really like these. My favorite one is Unrestricted because it's the pinkier tone one, but these are really, really pretty. Just kind of blur the lips and give a little bit of color. Very easy, great for every day. And then this Makeup by Mario lipstick in the shade Aaron, specifically this shade and the shade Sierra have been my favorite. These are definitely a matte formula. They're a little bit more of a drier matte, so that might not be everyone's favorite, but I absolutely love these, and I really like his colors. Again, Makeup by Mario is just like the brand of the year for me. And then last but not, or no, I have 2 more things after this, but last lipstick is the MAC Blankety lipstick and cream cup. So Blankety is the amplified cream, and then this is a cream sheen. I love these. This is like my everyday. I would literally wear a Hue lip liner and I'd mix these. I go with Blankety first and then top it with cream cup because they have that like, these are like a satiny, like creamy lipstick. I love MAC lipsticks. Like I still use Honey Love. I still use Brave. I wear Plumful a lot, which is like that berry shade. I'll try to put in a picture. MAC lipsticks are some of my favorite. I know like people don't really use MAC as much anymore, but I will forever purchase MAC lipsticks, and you can get them at Ulta. Some colors you can't, but MAC lipsticks are like perfect to me. And then lastly, I've been loving to top my lipsticks with a little bit of a red gloss. So I've been loving the Patrick Ta one in Full Syringe, or the Fenty Heat Gloss in Hot Cherry. So this one is like a cinnamony gloss. It has a little bit of like that cooling, like tingling effect, but not really. But this one is like spicy. Like when I want to plump, this one's gonna give it to me. This is a very spicy lip gloss. Like almost if like I have hot Cheetos on my lips or something. But I love that, like the little bit of like doing like the nude lip and then just topping it with a little bit of like a red lip gloss. It just gives like the prettiest like juicy color to the lips. So I have been loving these. And yeah, that is everything I wanted to mention. I'm surprised I got through it so fast. I probably forgot something, but hopefully I remembered everything I used. Again, I will link down below the previous ones that I filmed. And yeah, let me know the products you love this year, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!